Yo, what's going on, guys? So this is going to be my final version of the Shrapnel build. I know I've gone through a lot of different versions, but I finally got to exactly where I wanted to be, how I described in all the other videos. It's absolutely insane how much damage this does. We're going to go through the numbers, explain the differences between different gear and why you should be running exactly what I'm running. Should be good. But before we do that, I just want to say thank you for the love and support on the last video. We are still going to be doing the giveaway at 1K subs. I think what I want to do is $20 for Once Human and then $20 for Throne and Liberty. But I'm still figuring that out. But I still want to do the giveaway at 1K subs. So if you guys want to hit the sub button, like and comment, let me know what you guys think of the build. It would be greatly appreciated. It's absolutely free and it really does help the channel out. But let's get right into it. So first things first, the gear, it basically has not changed throughout all the different versions, and I'll explain the reasoning why. But first things first, we have the Soaker, the Last Valor, obviously going to be your main weapon. I've tried out the MG, I've tried out the Div Evo, I've tried all of them out. Nothing's going to beat the Last Valor. This is absolutely incredible. As it goes for the secondary, it's still going to be the Kuma Wink. I've tried the LMG that's bounce. I've tried different things to crowd control. It just doesn't work. The Kuma Wink is going to be your best secondary for crowd control. This is when you're in like LEA or something, you have to deal with a lot of mobs. The Kuma Wink is going to absolutely dominate. Now, as it goes for gear, you're going to run a 4-piece Lone Wolf. This is going to be just straight damage, just increasing your DPS, increasing your mag capacity so that you have more damage per mag, all that good stuff. Then you're going to run a 1-piece Bastille. This is going to give you 10% more damage as long as you're above 70% HP. No brainer there. The more health you have, the more damage you're doing. Now, as it goes for the helmet, this is where a lot of people get it wrong. And I'm going to do the math for you guys and show you exactly why and explain how it actually works. So the gas tight helm is going to be your go-to for this build. I'm going to pull out a Google Docs real quick and I'll show you. So this is going to be the gas tight helm and this is going to be the beret. The cage helmet isn't even in this conversation and a lot of you guys know why. So as it goes for the beret, you are going to be doing anywhere from 1 to 2. This goes for everything 1 to 2 and then this goes 1 to 2. The difference with the beret is for every one that you proc, every shrapnel that you proc, you're going to be doing an extra proc. So in reality, you're doing anywhere from 2 to 4. This is what it's going to be. As it goes for the gas tight helm, you're not doing any extra procs, but you're doing extra damage. So the extra damage is 1.2. Let's actually do this. You're doing 1.2 or 2.4, depending on how many you proc. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add these. You're going to add these together. So you will get anywhere from, you're going to get 2.2 to 4.4. That's what it's going to be for damage wise. For this one, however, nothing changes. You're either doing 2 or you're doing 4. There's nothing about this that screams better than doing the equivalent of this. Now, a lot of people, and I've even had arguments about this, well, what about crits? What about weak spot? And yes, theoretically, the gas tight helm is going to do 10% more damage, but with weak spot and crit damage and all that stuff proccing, you may think, oh, it evens out. It evens out. In reality, it doesn't. And I tested this the other day. So the gas tight helm, I was able to do 60k damage max. Like this was getting all my procs on my gear. I didn't run any buffs, but this was just getting all like the Lone Wolf procs, all that good stuff. When it came to the beret, I can only do 57k. Now, in my initial testing back in like the version 1 and version 2, it was only around a 3 to 4%, but now that my gas tight helm is a 5-star, it's actually a 5% differential. So if you're looking to min-max, you can absolutely run the gas tight helm. But if you don't really care, if it's a little bit too expensive for your taste to get that 5%, if 5% doesn't seem like a lot, beret is going to be just fine for you. But that's how I do my gear. Let's go on to the mods. So as it goes for mods, not many things have changed except for the base or the extra stats that you get on there. So right now I am running this absolute beauty. We finally managed to get a best in slot, and I'll tell you exactly what a best in slot goes for basically all these different mods. So personally, for my best in slot, it's going to be weapon damage and crit damage. You can theoretically get weak spot. I only run, I believe, 1 weak spot damage on here, but mainly you want to stack into crit. But you're going to want to have 2 base weapon damage things. So that's going to be crit and actual weapon damage. Those are going to just flatly boost your DPS to any target, whether that be a PvE or PvP. Then you want a passive buff, which is what I like to call it, which is going to be reload speed, magazine capacity, health, or damage reduction. That's going to be your 3rd perk. And then for your 4th perk, you're going to want to look for damage to great ones. Now, the majority of my gear has damage to great ones. I do have 1 piece that goes towards normal enemies and then 1 piece that goes to elite enemies. The reason why I have that is because it's just nice to do extra damage, but the majority of my pieces are going to have damage to great ones because they have way more HP than anything else. But again, this is just min-maxing. As it goes for my Kuma Wink, I have this beauty right here. It's going to be weapon damage, crit damage, max HP, and then damage to normal enemies. I don't use the Kuma Wink for basically elites. or at least I try not to, but I usually have it for just aggroing mobs, all that good stuff. So just big crowds of little deviants. As it goes for armor, again, not much has changed. We have momentum up, weapon damage, crit damage, max HP, and then damage to normal enemies. Pretty standard. As it goes for the chest piece, now this is where a lot of people, they like to run like a blue piece or something, or like a purple piece, but for me, I really like resist advantage. The math for this is, if you want to do it out, if you have just the normal 10% damage reduction as it says at the top versus you do 10% more damage, I think it's like a 2% differential, which is really strange if you actually think about it, but it's basically like if you do 10%, it's weird. I'm not gonna get too crazy into it because that took me a little bit to get to, but 10% damage reduction is going to be better than 10%, I think, HP, or 10%, whatever you call it, damage. I'm just going to say trust me on this one, but as you guys know, I have done the math out for it, so use this. But again, weapon damage, damage to elites, crit damage, and max HP. This is absolutely a beautiful piece. The pants, same thing as last time. Weapon damage, magazine capacity, damage to great ones, and crit damage. Now, the boots, we finally got a best in slot for this one, which is absolutely amazing. We have weapon damage, crit damage, headshot damage reduction, and damage to great ones. So happy I found this one. Absolutely beautiful. And this one's going to be slow and steady, as you guys can see. This one's going to be dead shot violent. Sorry if I missed this. And this one's going to be resist advantage. As it goes for the hands, you're going to want to do crit amplifier because you want that extra crit rate. The more you're critting, the more damage you're going to be doing. A lot of people, they like to do gun damage or this, but I will say crit damage is better because if you guys have noticed, crits do like double the damage rather than like a weak spot, which is like, I think 1.5. That's the reason why I run this. You can technically get away with maybe more crit rate, but I do like the crit damage in there, the 15% versus the 5%. Pretty decent trade-off to me. But again, weapon damage, max HP, crit damage, damage to great ones. You guys see a pattern here. And then the last one is going to be explosive shrapnel. Now, I will proc this anywhere from 1 to 2 times per magazine, which is basically doing 300% damage and is a critical hit. I have genuinely seen 70,000 damage from one of these on just like, I think it was just like a random elite, but it's usually around 50,000. But you can get up there. You can get up there. But again, weapon damage, damage to great ones, max HP, weak spot damage. So now we are over here by the servitor. We're going to be doing this on hard mode just to give you an idea of how much damage this does. I don't have any PvP footage for this scenario, and I don't intend on getting any PvP footage, but I do have PvP footage from the version 2, I believe. So if you guys want to check that out, make sure you guys go to that video to see the PvP aspect of it. But for this, I just want to show you guys the absolute monstrosity that it is, this build. So we're gonna jump straight into it. This is gonna be just raw footage. You guys are gonna see how crazy this actually is. If my health doesn't die. And the only thing I have going right now is going to be my food buff. And my, it's going to be my gel for the next phase. So you're going to see her health absolutely melt. And we're finally on to the last phase. It's going to be sub 30-second kill. Just because of how good this build is. Done. That easy. Now, I know I didn't do it there, but this does 3-clip the servitor. That's basically 130 rounds, and only one of her phases I'm using the gel for extra damage from my, what is it, specializations or whatever you call it. Now, I'm not going to go into those because they do change season to season and what type of game mode you're on, so that's just going to be preference and basically just common knowledge. If you have your AR or submachine gun, you're going to want to do that rather than go into pistol damage. So that's what I would say. That's the build. I hope you guys found it useful. I hope you guys now understand the difference between the beret, all that good stuff, and you guys can actually see the math of it and the logic behind it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure to hit that sub. The quicker we get to 1K, the quicker we get to do the giveaway, which I'm really, really excited for. I do want to give back to my amazing community. So the quicker we do that, the quicker we can give away. Yeah, that's what I have for you guys. So I hope each and every one of you guys has a wonderful day. And as always, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.